Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. I'm Gnomes. We are going to restart the process of this live streaming, right? Because we've reached 100 live streaming as a number of sessions. So some work I've been doing on this direction for about 2 months, something like that, and so I'm getting more experience with this, and now we are going to a reset, right? Not reset of the rig, the character, of course. We are going to continue from where we stopped. Actually, I've made some updates, and also I've made up my mind about, also I've made some few experiments, and eventually I've concluded that what I need to do for this character, because I failed I lost the last battle with the skinning algorithm for those profile bendy bone splines for the hips, leg, thigh, complex joint of the pelvis region. Apparently I was mistaken, although the method itself is very good for quality deforms on many regions. It helps shaping profiles and with action constraint, and now I have some sort of RBF nodes which can also, I think, can work like a setting of to automate some positioning, like if we were doing some action bone constraint stuff, right? Keyframing pose. So I have installed that, and I was expecting to use it for corrective shape keys, but then I found something that was not very pleasing. I think there's a limitation in how it works, because it seems like, okay, so basically we have an input here from a bone, but the problem is, and then this goes to a shape key, and then we can create a driver for the shape key or whatever. Can affect lots of things in the UI. It's very relatively intuitive to use. This is the central one. Then we add some node here like output shape key. Alright, so I need to target the character. So currently that is body. Then I get the, for example, yeah, I like let's say you could use this. Then okay, it's targeted. Then we have to, for example, if I want the armature, so let's pick a bone. So for example, the foot bone. Master leg, actually, yeah. So this is a bone that moves, that we can pose, and therefore RBF nodes add-on recognize this editor here, new editor for, so it's Shift F3. Alright, so you can get like here, yeah. I think I've lost the, where was it? I think it, okay, here. So then what we do, it's very simple to use, but yeah, I need some introduction at least. It can get more complicated, but then what we do is that, let's say I have here, I want to get an input from its location. I've seen so all its location, I don't know if it is word space or local space, so this is maybe it's a limitation. I need to try, but anyways, the problem, okay, so then it means I can drive this by creating a pose. So for example, here the shape key that I've just using it as an example here, yeah, so I have the lips, So this is the shape keys I have to give volume to the lips for a universal sonic mouth rig thing. So instead of shaping the lips from edit mode, binding rest pose, right, this will turn the lips into a complicated mesh to suffer the deforms of the skinning algorithms, whatever they are. So it's better to have apparently a very regular mouth, and then okay, then the shape keys will solve the extra volume, and we can actually make more of this, not to make the expression of the mouth, but just to give volume to the lips. We can combine, of course, then. But my intention here is just to generate this volume of the lips. So let's say I want to activate this, right? So what we do here, instead of adding a driver here, what we do is it will add a driver automatically. So if I get, maybe it will be better if I change the bone target, right? So for example, let's use this hand. So I'm gonna pick this hand, and what we need to do now is just on the sidebar here, we get the starting pose, could be this one, with where everything is reset except for, yeah, even the shape key is 0. Then we add pose, it will connect to the main node. It's the division between the watershed between the input and output, and the final output in this case is the shape key for the lips. Then we need to, okay, so now it's a pose, I can edit it, but I'm not gonna edit, so I can recall it, but it's what it is right now. So I'm gonna make some changes here. So this bone is affected, is being tracked by RBF nodes add-on. So it will take all these inputs to make some change to the, I don't know really, it calculates in its own ways, so I don't have a lot of control over that apparently, but then it's very practical for certain cases. So here it's not enough to pose here, I need to pose the output, so I give a maximum here. And so basically the idea is, and then I add pose, and then we have 2 pose, and I can recall the first one or the second one. So now it has saved, I not edit this, so this means that Blender will find the way to alright, we have something's not working here. Maybe I'm forgetting something. It's the master arm, right? Maybe I forgot something. Hold on, folks. Recall. Oh, of course. Of course I forgot something. We need to activate this, activate RBF. Now, yes. There we go. So it finds that location, right, where it would make this the shape key. The problem that I found, which is sad, and I don't know if there is a solution for that, is that it is not possible to have a secondary bone to do this. So this is a huge problem for me, because if I want to do the correct, usually when I do a corrective shape keys, for example on the thigh, on the hips joint, right, it is a relation between this mesh and this mesh, and I think this happens because we are taking deformed bone and also using the bone that rotates and rotates the, yeah, so they form bone and it will affect the mesh, and the mesh rotates, and so this will affect the shape key in different ways. So if for example, I'm not sure about this is something I will find out if in this session or next session as we achieve this. If I bend this towards the leg, this Blender should also recognize this as a leg bending. It's not the best example for the corrective shape keys. The problem is that apparently the RBF nodes add-on do not recognize local spaces transforms. So if this bone is, if I'm trying to target here for the input a bone that is suffering bone constraints or parenting transforms, it will change on world space visually, but not on local space, or even its local space will change because of the bone constraints and all that, but it won't be tracked from here because this data won't change. And then RBF and Blender has sort of 3 to 4 layers of how stuff happen apparently. So drivers, they can pick these inputs through drivers, not made by this. So currently I have a driver. They even if this is not moving on, changing on pose mode, as we have, for example, an animation, there are change in local coordinates for the bones. If they are bone constrained, for example, or even perhaps parenting offset or parenting just, I'm not sure. But yes, in principle, those transforms would affect, although we don't see change here, this will be tracked by the driver. And RBF nodes apparently cannot get this as input. It doesn't recognize the transforms. I have tried with parenting, with bone constraint, copy location, child off, with this, which I know that works, rotation I'm not sure. It doesn't interpret, so it needs to be a bone that is posed manually. And this means that I want to use I key. I don't want to pose that bone to have the right, so there's no way that I can activate the driver through this directly, because I need to take a bone that is not the bone that I actually need for the driver. So maybe I'm missing something important, so I've just started to use this add-on, and unfortunately I won't be able to use for this case. So however, let me show here. So you see, I didn't create this driver, this was created by the system there. And if you go and edit driver, we see that it has this property, which node 3, RBF nodes, node shape keys output, So unless I could edit that, yes, no. Invalid target channel, okay, maybe I need to. So I'm trying to find a way to get around this, or I would be doing this research, but apparently here, this is something I was about to think. What if I could give additional, it will be mixing, this will be like redundancy, because then Well, I don't have a shape key here, so it's kind of useless, but there's an input, an output there. We don't. Yeah, anyways, this is not the time for that, folks. So um, unfortunately I can't find a way to solve this, so we have to instead, well, let's do those corrective shape keys, which are essential. I didn't give up in finding a solution for the solving the types deforms with armature deform methods, but that quest is like, I think it's too. I found some crazy ways also with by separate. Yeah, this is another file, like sort of splitting the wave painting, not allowing the wave painting from two deformed bones to connect in a joint, and then having instead these vertices connect with themselves with some, how to say, yeah, I have the file here. This is totally crazy. I just disjoint. Okay, so what is happening here is that we have oh no, I think I've deleted the system here. Yeah, I need to find the other backup, so just maybe it's here. Yes, here. So this is using hook modifiers. Takes some time to set up, and yeah, lots of hooks. This is just for the type, just for but then what it does, it's yeah, we need to this allows for actually solving those deforms without skinning algorithm in that region, because this is done by another system which is probably more akin to vertices transforms, like in morphs, except that we can select the groups, right? There are some bones here that are on the right, and the left side is ready, not the. So basically the idea of this system, let me show you how the wave painting is. I totally don't recommend this method because it's like too complicated, and it's not versatile because the hooks are annoying to set up. Then you have the bones, then you have to have those bones move in very specific ways, which is not very intuitive. Well, relatively, just to move them a lot. And probably need, I have 4 bones, one for, yeah, top, down, and each one of them just have some hook to one or few vertices around, like, and this is a ton of work. It's not like it's not difficult, but it's tricky. It's annoying to set up, and then you have to have these things posed. But the cool thing is that they, differently from deformed bones, these are non-deformed bones, although they have wave painting. So this is completely crazy. Hold on, what I'm doing? I need to show the. Okay, I need to show the wave painting, right? So you have, for example, you see where this will go. It doesn't connect. There is some, we cannot see very well here, but this mesh is not connected to this in terms of wave painting, nor this. They are separated by by, or maybe they are by mistake. No. So what it does is that the type ending here, it won't, as there are no blended waves, the type will sort of have a ballistic, although it's not seen here, maybe there's some, yeah, this is not supposed to, oh, this is because, of course. Okay, then you see how much I need to, this is a bone, a hook bone. And the cool thing about this is just that it can really carry those vertices on the danger zone in a way that is very regular. If it was a deformed bone, like a helper bone with skinning algorithm, it will be interacting in a different way with the skinning algorithm there. And so it will be much, it might be way more complicated to do this that I'm doing here. And so here, but the problem is that only this is not enough. We need also then to include, sometimes it can be enough, right? But we have 4 bones in this case, and then 1 hook for each one of them. Then we need probably sometimes to have the corrective smooth, it will help on very specific region. And then there is also I don't know, this is old one, this is the new one, I don't know. Anyways, so it's, and then of course we have to pose all these things, adapt as we pose, and they're not like, the way I found is that they need to be posed very arbitrarily. It's, I don't even know their tracking as the leg mode, so I couldn't like bone constrain them to the type in some way that would automate. So yeah, there is some logic, I think, but then I think it's way more arbitrary than the maybe I'm wrong, than the skin, than if they were deformed bones, which then they move in sync with the skinning algorithm. And here it's not exactly that, so they need to be moved very very far. Of course this depends also the way I created them, the way they relate to the hooks, and yeah. So this method it works. As you see, we can shape sort of in a very we have strong control over the mesh, even if it's deformed in hard ways. You see how regular this transforms the mesh, because it's hook modifier. So this is like really, it's not respecting the skinning algorithm. And we can rotate also, but we can scale, we can, but eventually it will interact with corrupted mesh, let's say like that, and we'll need to move them a lot and find, yeah, so it's tricky. And then of course eventually we'll need to use the corrective smooth to help out, and it helps a lot. But then we still have to find for each position, right, some way to, yeah, we must keyframe those things, like probably an action bone constraints, or possibly we can use those pose with the RPF nodes add-on, right? I never tried that, but I think it's feasible. We emulate action bone constraint with that. So yeah, but I totally do not recommend this method. It's just a curiosity that we can do that, and it's actually pretty curious thing. It's like we are escaping some horrid things of the skinning algorithms. And now I'm very tired of corrupted mesh, and so I've made many experiments, right? And I believe the idea of I've also made some experiments with the sort of a cage mesh idea, and it failed in Blender. So I believe the cage mesh itself does not counter skinning algorithm very well on the artifacts. So this is traumatic. At least I wasn't successful in that. So I believe those CurveNet of Pixar, they have a method to solve the artifacts besides the CurveNets, the cage stuff, besides the profile bendy bone splines, because otherwise without any artifacts, the profile bendy bone splines are very strong. Hold on, I think I know the answer, folks. The artifacts can be solved with shape keys, corrective shape keys, assuming that this is enough to not pollute, contaminate the wave painting, in the sense that, yeah, it should work. Yes, so we don't need to wave paint to counteract artifacts. Shape keys come after the artifacts, they solve the artifacts, we bring up the profile bendy bone splines. Alright, but then why would even need this stuff? Just to make better shapes? Yeah, okay, it's plausible. Very perfectionist, but yeah, it's plausible. I think this would work. I haven't tried. So these bendy bone splines will have additional waves that will dispute. Maybe they will. Yeah, this is a problem. They will take ratio, right? They influence the ratio of the wave painting, and so we can, if we create them after having solved the artifacts with shape keys, we'll be changing the ratios, and then probably we'll have to retake the shape keys. So unless we made them all together, and then without trying to shape the bendy bone splines profiles with too much, we try just to solve the artifacts, and then they will be, then we do just one time. Yeah, so that would be the approach maybe, but I doubt that is exactly what something like that Pixar or other professional studios would, very rich studios would do. They will have probably a better skinning algorithm after all, and then they just can avoid the horrid artifacts. Don't need to correct them even, they are already solved by default, and so they're just the spline stuff, right, to get the job done. So here, folks, we are not in this level but we are in the level of using. So I'm going back to this idea of shape keys, and yes, I have a mirror modifier, so unfortunately, yes, but I have an add-on now that allow me to apply object modifiers with shape keys so it works. Here it is. It's free add-on, so very good that it works on Blender 3.6 LTS. Here I'm on Blender 3.6.4 already. I think it still works here, so that's great. So a few versions ago, before 3.6.0, I think it was failing, but now it's back, so that's great. Alright, so we're going to make the corrective shape keys manually. I'll have at least the requirement to do pelvis left. yeah, actually pelvis back left. Problem is this back is a code for something, for symmetry, but anyways, so we're going to, here I don't have this system, right? So the only thing I've made to complement this system is some automation, some system of buttocks leverage there, and also of belly leverage. It doesn't help too much, the belly one, but it does something. So you have, basically I have two bones here. This actually can be changed. This is pubis, belly, I don't know. Yeah, pelvis front. And so these are not bendy bones, they are just simple okay. So I'm gonna symmetrize because they have got transformation bone constraint. So basically I made for the back, then I use the same, and they all target the type, the mechanism type. Yes, that's it. Yeah, could be the real type, doesn't matter. So it's just a very simple system. We leverage as the mechanism type goes up, rotates backwards, right, for the back bending. Then this bone that says the back pelvis back left, it will move up and move front slightly, very slightly. So it will push. So it's a mechanism for buttocks leverage. And yeah, there are a lot of shared waves here between some other bones, but it doesn't matter. It's very simple. It's just to start to have this system, and then on top of this we create the shape keys, and same thing for the front. So all of them they all have some small participation there. It's very simple. Oh, I don't have also one for the side bending, although the side bending is currently quite good for this model, right? But could also, yeah, I could also adapt, but I'm not creating right now. So I'm gonna, what I want is to create a shape key for this pose here. Probably what I need to do is to make some keyframing, right? So I'm gonna save here. This I'm gonna create like a keyframe for this and this here, somewhere like here. Then I go further. So this is just perhaps to, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, let's just to have the okay, and then here we move all this up. No, this, and then as we go back to the beginning, we reset here. Okay, so here this is good enough. Yeah, I can use the corrective shape keys here. It's much better to manipulate. It's much easier to manipulate mesh directly, right? So much more power, but the complications is that, well, at least we have some I have a few questions about how this will work though, because I think I need to edit the shape key with the armature like that on cage and edit. And then there is also, okay, the bones there, the helper bones are doing their job. So we just need to activate this. I think that's like this, and then start working on this, I guess. Yeah, so this will be, maybe I need proportional editing on a very, anyway, it's very visual, right folks? So there's no much space for perfectionism here, in the sense that, well, it's organic, right? So there's no exact thing to do. There are many possibilities. We are trying to see what is valid options, good shapes. So I must be careful, because even if there's also the problem, as the shape key start, if you change it too much, it will affect the interpolation. It might not be good on every place on the interpolation. Of course, now it's not driven, so it's everywhere. Actually, it's not good. We need to perhaps create this driver right now. So again, armature, type can be the deform type. Yeah, it should always be the deform, because I have another system in the X rotation, never forget, local space, quaternion. And this is another thing that is complicated. Actually, I already know the back rotation is it's on radians, it's negative. Yes, the input is X is negative, so we want var plus 0. No, we want negative var plus 0. So now if we see, the problem is, okay, I'm gonna save, does this affect the shape key inversely? I think not. No, that's fine. Alright. Oh, I'm saving, I forgot. Okay, let's turn this off. Right, good. So we have the driver going on, but this is not the maximum, right? We need to perhaps add a few values here. The problem is that if we add it there, like 0.3 for example, already the shape key starts at, okay, it gets to 1 there, but here it's already 1. Then as we get, I should have another animation forward, right? So that we can have some other motion there. Okay, I'm not gonna do perfect, just do that. So we're gonna we'll easily see. Oh, it keeps going down. All right. This happens because the input starts to get more and more, and more means more negative. So this is fine, this is perfectly fine. Not perfectly fine because it's too much, so let's try this. Alright, this is nearly 1 at this point, so we want 1 at this point. And here, yeah, it's okay if here it's not, provided the shape is not horrible, but yeah, it's tiny details. So here, what about this? No, for some reason the X changed there, but not too much, so it's something about the role of the type, yeah, so not a big deal. So I think this will work, folks. So what we need here, so is continue editing this, I guess, making sure we are, yeah, I hope I'm not doing anything terribly wrong because it can get really annoying if we mess up with the, if we confuse the bases with the other shape keys. Yeah, I had lots of problem with that already, but now I think I get the, you see, the buttocks leverage system is not enough to, wasn't strong enough to solve everything here. Naturally the artifact is too evil and but it should have helped. Yeah, it might have helped. Certainly it helped getting things more organized, so that for here I just need to make some, yeah, lot of things to solve, but it's, yeah, here there are some vertices there. We need to reorganize this mesh. Yeah, it's okay to be pulling these vertices, I think, because everything is being pulled. It's all, I'm concerned about the way I'm doing this though. Is it correct to be doing in the armature here? I think I wouldn't be able to edit this if I weren't in the on cage. I should have seen a bit more of the tutorials just to be sure about the proper method, but we'll see if it destroys. Yeah, I can smooth this. The most important thing, however, is that we are working on the proper shape key and not on, right, so this is separate. So it's doing fine. We're doing fine. I think this is working, folks. And so yeah, this is very time consuming, but it can be pleasant, right? If it's well organized, if we know what we're doing, if we it's like sculpting, right? Sculpting in time, and yeah, much more intuitive than trying to solve with the armature deform methods, which is very, very painful. Sometimes we are lucky, sometimes there are methods that help, or we are lucky with the mesh, or maybe there's a method that I'm not aware that, oh, this, if you do this and this, it will be ideal, it will be perfect. I have never seen anything like that. All the times that I was successful, because I was with certain good deforms and some, it was very, very complicated to replicate it, like, so it means that I was lucky. Maybe I was using a mesh that was slightly more favorable, maybe I was more inspired in the day, maybe the wave painting was just a bit better, maybe the character design was, yeah. So I was never able to replicate, like, oh, this was easy, this is easy, then next time I try, oh no, I cannot solve, this is the end, yeah. So it's really, really, yeah, evil scanning algorithms and artifacts they generate. It's really frustrating, folks. So this is why I found some alternative, yeah, though, but it's just nothing, doesn't worth the time, right? I wish there will be like a solution, more than one, yeah, good solutions for armature deform that are actually, I've seen a lot of things, I made tutorial myself, but yeah, no. And then there's another problem, right, folks? The versatility, right? Sometimes the tricks that we need to use in Blender to solve certain of those things, they just might be not very versatile, and then it's like a drawback, right? And while shape keys, on the other hand, are very, very versatile. They work outside Blender and all that, so this is not really absolutely important thing, but it's cool, right, to think about it, having a project that is multi-functional, right? Oh, I have a perfect rig, yeah, but it only works in Blender. That's great. But what about, okay, now you know this method works, so then maybe it took a long time to develop it, to make it, and then you cannot replicate it for other projects. You need to find other alternatives, just right. So yeah, so it's a drawback, especially if the method is too yeah, that's it. Here I think we are having some issues with some subdivision, right, folks? This is crazy. I didn't know that I have this problem here on this part of the mesh. Maybe this is spreading the wrong way. Where does this go? Yeah, it's really, of course, the pose that I'm attempting to do is really, really difficult, right? Maybe I should change all this mesh here. The mesh topology is also not very favorable, right? Very, it's not helping a lot in this at this point, but you're nearly getting it here. For example, this will certainly start. Yeah, this is. Don't know even what loop is this. Yeah, it's not. This was meant to be something else. It's being compressed. Well, it should actually be spread apart. No, it's correct that it's being compressed, but it's really annoying. The mesh is very, very disorganized. At some point I need to stop using the proportional editing, folks, right? Because yeah, I should also protect the mesh because it's as simple, right? Just hiding the mesh is enough to protect. Yeah, so here we see how much this is. And here we have some issue with the positioning of the yeah, it's because of the on cage stuff. It's very strange. We get some offset of the gizmos of whatever the controls. Maybe I could do just some smoothing like that, right? Yeah, I should have thought that before. Now I made some bad choice here. Now this is also very bad. This maybe need to pull it differently. Yeah, this can go like there. Need to approach these meshes here, sort of. Yeah, we can smooth this. Probably we can, yeah, it will help if we make some rearrangement here. This is an area that, yeah, must be a bit careful, but it's okay if it stretches. And in the end we'll see anyways how, if something is like unbearable. Oh no, this is like too. Yeah, I think with good practice any method is like feasible if we practice enough, but then I still think currently that this particular method is more the conventional one, right? Is better. Although it's, yeah, you see, it's a lot of work, it can be confusing sometimes, but it's very accurate in the end, because we have exact world space stuff. We're not playing with the skinning algorithm so much. We are just fixing, like, it's nearly like making a new rest position, so that is good. So now we're getting a good, a better flow of this stuff. Yes, now it's getting good, but we can probably improve this shape here. Yeah. Consider it's low poly, so it's like some degree of stylization that is fine. The way the type here sticks out is a bit strange, so let's try to improve this a little. Yes, something like that, maybe. Yeah, I could be doing this for a long time, right? I like modeling. So yeah, I think this is good practice, folks. This method is actually enjoyable. It's not exactly my experience with all the other, but this varies from person to person, right? I was very reluctant to work with corrective shape keys method. I was doing lots of experiments over and over again over time, but now I think I finally make up my mind. Of course, if there is a good method, I would like to know alternative methods. Yes, always open to that, because it's not like this. Oh, this is great. No, this is certainly radically good, but there could be something better. Maybe not accessible today. Maybe accessible in the future. So that's what I mean, right? I'm looking for creative ways, good artistic ways to solve things, because I see rigging in part making characters, right? But including rigging as some sort of an art form. Unfortunately, wave painting is suffers too much because of the Stone Age skinning algorithms that we have usually. So it's like very hard to consider it as too much artistical, right? It's too bugged, too limiting. Is that the mesh never moves in a organic, natural way. Sometimes yes, but you know, these kind of complex joints are the limits, right? Where you see that it fails brutally. Then we need something as smart as corrective shape keys, for example, where we can just have full control of the mesh. Not full control, but let's say we can interpolate some keyframes, right, of shape keys, and then keys, right, shape keyframes, and then we can have the reorganization of this crazy corrupted system, corrupted mesh, while it deforms while it creates the artifacts, while the artifacts are generated. So here I think we got a really good one, right? Now I can, yeah, as I said, this could take forever, but it's, especially if we are making something special, we want, like, this character for me is special, is the main character, but it's not like, oh, I need the, no, if it doesn't have artifacts, that's already great. And here it would be more like stuff that I should do in the modeling part, right? Not with shape keys, but since it's, yeah. So I think we fixed one. Let's see here. So look at this pose, right? This pose. Welcome, folks, to the marvels of corrective shape keys in Blender. Blended waves from Maya. What is, I think there's some mistake here. This part is too, yeah, let's do this. Let's push this out slightly. All right, maybe here too, let's push this more to the inside. Yes. Did I push these vertices already? Not sure, but so yes, then by gradually progressing on that, we see it's very important that what we make here don't meets at doesn't interfere with other poses there, like, so it's really something that we must place very locally, right? And we must try to avoid like that it has issues elsewhere. So fortunately here nothing, the mesh really readjusts very smoothly, right? So there's no stress. Well, maybe some things here. I don't make an in-between here. I think it's not necessary. This sometimes we can just adjust by changing the mesh itself, right? But right now must be careful. Go back on bases. Check here, right? Bases. So now I still have a mirror modifier, so the shape keys is reproducing on the other side, so we gotta get rid of that. But essentially the back bending is done. So how much time we did to make this one? So 1 hour. Yeah, I was doing other things in 1 hour, so let's say in less than 1 hour, maybe, let's give it like 40 minutes, right? Took 40 minutes to make this one. And so very good results. Of course, we had this system, the leverage system I've mentioned, and it helped a little, not as much as I thought it would have helped. There we go, the leverage system. It just reorganized them. Yeah, it starts to creating the system, then the shape kit takes care of the rest. We need a front bending, side bending outwards, and perhaps a side bending inwards. So you see that the front one also has some belly leverage here, but that part will have to make some radical development, right? Yeah, we don't care. We'll do whatever it takes to, even the shapes the mesh gets, yeah, so eventually we can reassess these poses, right, and make some corrections on occasions, right? So it's like you don't need to solve everything right now, but yeah, it's looking good. So It's very pleasant. Finally, we have a solution. We always had the solution, right? And I'm not even using the RBF add-on, right? Because now what we're gonna see, yeah, let's try that thing. So in principle, rotating this won't create the shape key, so this could be a problem. Won't activate the shape key, I think. Oh, it activated. Ah. Aha, so you see? Of course, this bone rotates the... Okay, I need another bone, folks. So this is not enough, but now I see why. If I had used this on this bone, however, the foot bone wouldn't be moving, right? Here the type is rotating because this bone is pulling, right? So there are some rotation there. Although it's not necessarily in the way that the shape key will act, so it will be more like here, right? It's a lot already. So maybe this is not exactly what we want, so, but I don't see any particular error. Maybe we could make another corrective shape key for that. I don't think this is required. So what we need now is, yeah, I wanted to see some spine bone here. What if I pick some bone that is lower, like here? Yeah, this is moving. All of these bones, they change the, except perhaps this one. Yeah, this one is not the case, won't affect. So I don't really, I cannot test, but in principle, if this bone, imagine this was the torso, I'm just moving the torso without the legs, right? So yeah, like this. Of course, this won't activate, right? Because they're not changing. This would hold on, something. Yeah, this is the default start. So this affects, this would affect. Yeah, so I didn't understand that properly. Now I think I get the idea why. So yeah, so this rotate, this is positive that they affect the shape key because they are making the type rotate from its starting condition. And of course, if it rotates, usually it relates to the mesh, right? All right, so we're getting good progress here, and I think for this session is that, folks. We've got already one shape key done, and 1 hour passed. It's we are not going to do anything else here for the shape key. This is enough, I think. I just want to assess something here. Yes, the cloths. Yeah, the cloths are. Yeah, I have changed the. I'll have to adapt some stuff there. Yeah. So this is a topic for another session, folks. By the way, I changed the rest position. This I've changed because I've made up my mind about, I made new calculations of the preserve volume, dual quaternary skinning, right? I was able to, and so now I have for the legs at least, and I considered that this rest position should be good enough, is actually safer for the dual quaternary skinning, the 180 degrees positive or negative from this point of the mesh, so this won't cause the mesh to warp on very radical poses, provided it's not yoga and contortionism. And that will not be the case for this character, at least not for now, so we can use preserve volume, which is dual quaternion skinning algorithm for everything. And of course we have some spline skinning here and there with the bendy bone splines in that case, but that's safe. So we are progressing with this character, and we are going to try to complete this pelvis rig finally. Once the pelvis rig is completed, we besides other sessions I will be doing about clotting, I don't know, clot rigging, clot UV texturing, and hair modeling, and yeah, look, I'm remaking them to be like this, and I'm probably gonna complete the hair. I made this accessory here, but maybe I need to separate. Yes, it will be easier actually, yeah. So the hair, yeah, we need some more hair strands here and there, and especially on the side need to access the character design, but we're nearly here also a lot, a few, and then here also on her hair, so this is a good topic for live streaming. And then yes, pure modeling here, right? This was made with curve, but I want I think I can, with my current modeling skills, I think I can do everything from scratch. Might be easier for me. And then hand, yeah, I have a list of tasks, right? So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow, I hope. And then or today, depending on your time schedule and time zone. Happy blending, take care, and thanks for watching. See you next time, folks. We're continuing with less experimentation and more concrete results. That's it, folks. See ya.